Hey all, and today we're going to talk about heroes. Heroes come in all sizes, shapes, and colors and exist for a variety of reasons, whether they did something extraordinary or they're just plain brave. Any way you cut it, they come from all corners of Transformers lore. Sometimes there's even some unexpected heroes in the mix. Either way, we're going to spend today looking at the top 10 most heroic Transformers characters in the latest GotBot Counts Down. Hey all, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, your most humble of hosts, Dennis Moulton, aka GotBot. As always, please like, comment, share, of course, subscribe, and while you're at it, baby, let them up. That's right, hit that notification bell, please. It helps me out a ton, and it lets you know when content of all sorts goes up here on the channel. Check out Machinery of Man, The Everything Factor, Transformers Collectors, and L, the Autobot Family, Transformers vs. G.I. Joe vs. DC Universe vs. Marvel. Have a look for me everywhere across social media. Check out our Patreon and see what we offer to you through Teespring. All of those links, all of them, down in the description below. You can check everything out there. And as I said, we're going to be talking heroes today. And I said that they exist for a variety of reasons and come in a variety of sizes and shapes and factions and parts of the continuities and different areas of the lore. The voting was kind of amazing for this one. It wasn't necessarily... not necessarily everything was a huge surprise, but there were definitely surprises along the way. And we had votes cast for everyone from Sam to Ginrai to Impactor. None of them made the honorable mentions, none of them made the list, but they all, in their own way and at their own time, have been heroic. Fun fact, nobody voted for Primus. I figured for sure somebody would vote for Primus as heroic, but nobody voted for Primus. So, who at least fell into the honorable mentions? Well, we're going to kick things off with them first. And in the honorable mentions, normally I do 5. The bottom ones that I'm about to name, all of these had the exact same number of votes, so I thought I would include all of them in the honorable mentions. Talking about Depth Charge, Cliff Jumper, Optimus Primal, Jetfire or Skyfire if you will, Tigatron, Blaster. Blaster was one that surprised me. Who else do we have here? Energon Galvatron, another one that really surprised me. Drift, Metroplex, Movie Jazz, because of how brave he was, even if he did get torn in two, and Omega Supreme. All of those had the same number of votes. Also in the honorable mentions, I want to throw out Springer. He got some votes. Animated Prowl, he was a great one. I think he would have made my personal list. And no, I think that's it. That's it for the honorable mentions. That's it for the honorable mentions this time around, which brings us to the actual list itself. So where do we begin? Where is number 10? Well, number 10 comes to us from the Unicron trilogy, specifically Transformers Armada. And this character really kind of took action to unite the Autobots and Decepticons against Unicron, and he even gave up his life in the battle against Unicron. I'm talking about Starscream. I never would have expected a Starscream to be on a list of heroes, but you know what? Even though in other parts of the trilogy he would become probably more evil than he's ever been, for that one time, that one section, that one part of the continuity, he might not have been the hero that we expected. He might not have even been the hero that we sort of asked for, but at that time he was definitely the hero we needed, and for that reason he takes the number 10 slot. And number 9 actually has us stick with the Unicron trilogy, this time Cybertron. And this character is one that is considered heroic because of his defense, his lonely existence and defense of all of time and space, and because he gave himself up to kind of roll time back so that the Autobots could get back to their own dimension. Of course, I'm talking about Vector Prime. He made a lot of sacrifices for the greater good of all of reality, all of the multiverse and time and space, and led a very lonely existence because of it. And for that reason, he would definitely be considered heroic. And his final sacrifice is one of the most heroic in Transformers history, and that's what helps him solidify his spot in the number 9 slot. And I would argue to you that number 8 is heroic if for no other reason than because of his voice alone and the regal nature behind it. Although he did save one particular character time and time again. We're going to Beast Wars, and we're looking at this guy, Silverbolt. Silverbolt, of course, he saved Black Arachnia many times. He was so chivalrous, and he was always brave, especially for her. There was no threat too big for him to kind of shirk his love for Black Arachnia. And, of course, he was very loyal to the Maximals because of the fact that they were honorable. And I guess because of his honor, because of his chivalry, and because of the fact that he would do anything to kind of defend his beliefs and his kind of moral compass, I guess all of that goes part and parcel in helping him take the number 8 slot. And when I asked why number 7 would be considered heroic, everybody gave me the same answer. Because he's tough, because he'll stand up to anyone, because he's good at rallying the troops, and if nothing else, he's great at chewing bubble gum and kicking robo-butt. Whom am I talking about? None other than this guy. It's Ironhide. And Ironhide is, I guess, heroic for all those reasons. I don't ever remember him backing down from a challenge or being intimidated really by anyone. And because you can kind of look at this guy's archetype to aspire to for bravery in the face of adversity, I think that helps him solidify his place at the number 7 slot. And at number 6, you can say what you like. Yes, he may be only a soldier, but he's a brave soldier. Of course, I'm talking about Ultra Magnus. And a lot of people said the same thing here, that, for that time that he was the leader of the Autobots, he led relatively well. And he'd done his best every time he faced adversity to kind of stand up against it to the point of getting dismantled. Then we look at him in Transformers Prime, another kind of, well-developed depiction of the character. And again, he did the best he could, following his adherence to his moral compass to lead. He was definitely brave. He definitely did not back down against the Decepticons for attempting to be a good leader, even though he doesn't really believe he's leadership material. And because he identifies himself as a soldier, a brave soldier at that, it helps Ultra Magnus take the number 6 slot. And here we are at the halfway mark. And with the halfway mark, who do we have? Well, we actually have this guy. It is Movie Bumblebee. Yes, specifically Movie Bumblebee. Here's the thing. Bumblebee scored many votes. A couple from animated, a couple from G1, so I did lump them in with this guy, but the vast majority that came in for Bumblebee was Movie Bumblebee. I asked, as always, why, man? Why Bumblebee? And because I kind of expected that a lot of people would just say he was my favorite character, because sometimes people vote with their heart. But you know what? Kind of like a good defense was made. Bumblebee faced off against Decepticons, always with kind of bravery and skill. You go right back to when he first encountered Barricade. He defended Sam Witwicky and his family really to the bitter end. You look at his role in as late as the last night, and he fought Optimus, and he would have laid his life down for Optimus. And then, of course, in his own film, the whole reason that the Decepticons' plot got thwarted and the Decepticons weren't called to Earth by Shatter and Dropkick is really because of this guy. And I can't really argue any of those points, because whether you like B or not, he did do all those things, and for that reason, he takes the number 5 slot. Number 4 is kind of getting repetitive now. If you've been watching these countdowns for a while, you can almost guess who number 4 is going to be. It's someone who isn't necessarily the sharpest tool in the shed, as the old saying goes, but he is most definitely brave, and he would stand up and fight against anyone. As a matter of fact, he probably has a bit of a penchant and enjoys fighting. Who am I talking about? I'm talking, of course, about Grimlock, who very often in these countdowns takes the number 4 slot. It's a commonplace for this guy. I can't argue it. I mean, Grimlock he'll go against anyone. He'll take the Dinobots in against anyone. Don't matter the size, don't matter their strength. He is very confident in his abilities in battle and the Dinobots' abilities in battle. And for that reason, he takes the number 4 slot. And we're into the top 3. And number 3 is one that I'm not going to lie, I don't get it. He got a bunch of votes. I don't get it. I think a lot of the votes for this guy, though it wasn't made clear, but I'm going to guess a lot of the votes for this guy came in because of his role in Cyberverse and in IDW comics, where he has, been in a nest of Decepticons and fought his way out. In fact, in IDW, he even went and retrieved the Matrix. Of course, I'm talking about Hot Rod. I'm sorry. I see Hot Rod and I just see the guy who led to the demise of Optimus Prime. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it, but you know what? The votes came in, and a lot of people do get it, and a lot of people do see this guy as heroic. It ain't for me, but this ain't about me. This is about you guys. And because of you know, things like I mentioned, such as him fighting his way out of a nest of Decepticons, such as him taking on certain powerful Decepticons by himself, and because he actually retrieved the Matrix of Leadership, I guess all those things combined to help Hot Rod take the number 3 slot. And number 2 and number 1 both had votes that were very close. It was a close race, and honestly, when you see number 2 and number 1, I think you'll say either one of them, man, could have taken the top spot. Number 2 comes to us from Beast Wars, and it's Dinobot. The guy went from being a Predacon to sacrificing himself to save humanity. The reason we're here is because of Dinobot, and for that reason he takes the number 2 slot. And here we are once again at number 1. And number 1 is going to be no surprise to anyone, because number 1 comes from any continuity that you want to talk about, and it's the leader of the Autobots himself, Optimus Prime. Why Optimus? Well, he has the look of a hero. He has the dialogue of a hero, whether he's, you know, inspiring his troops, or whether he's simply being like a solemn, stately leader. Optimus always has a certain presence. He was the like robotic father, so to speak, of a generation of children. And, you know, he's an unwavering leader. You never hear him kind of questioning if he belongs here or there. He will go up against any Decepticon, big or small. He has, you know, made sacrifices of himself over and over. Now, some people would say, hey, look, he makes a sacrifice, he keeps coming back. Makes a sacrifice, keeps coming back. I don't necessarily know if that's always the case, as much as they find a way to be able to bring him back. Sometimes it's been a little goofy with things like, oh, the magic of the Matrix brings him back. But, like, if he can actually, you know, when he was taken out as Orion and then rebuilt as Optimus, cool, whatever. And maybe he can keep coming back because, by rights, he is one of the original 13, which gives him probably a bit of a special place in Primus's spark, if you get my drift. He is definitely skilled, brave, strong, and an inspiring leader. And for all those reasons, he easily takes, whatever version you prefer, the number 1 slot. And that's it. We did it again. 10-1 for the most heroic Transformers. I don't think that the top ones were really any surprise to anyone, but a couple on there, like Armada Starscream, might have been a surprise to a few. That's the way the votes fell. Whether I agree with it or not, whether you agree with it or not, I'd love to know if your favorites made the list, because I think my personal list would have looked slightly different. I really think that animated Prowl would have made it on there had I been doing this myself. Anyway, that all being said, I appreciate you coming by and giving me some of your extremely valuable time. I know how important it is to you. If you're in a position to help the channel to grow, don't forget that there's a donate link down in the description. You can check us out on Patreon or see what we offer to you through Teespring. Don't forget as well to hit the subscribe button, and remember that somehow, someway, each and every single day, man, you do make a difference. And I look forward, baby, to the next time, and that you and I get together to have another visit. Either in the live streams on Thursday nights at the stop motion premieres, or right here the old-fashioned way, inside the videos.